Hello, Morten. This is feedback for your assignment 4. Um, in general terms, as I think I told you last time, you write with good fluency. You have adequate and relevant vocab in this text. Grammatically, there are very few errors that I can see that are consistent and therefore worrying. So that side of the text is working. I will say, however, that your text appears to me to be much more descriptive than what I would have expected given the task description. Assessing something and discussing something is both, of course, a conceptual thing. You need to know what you want to say with your discussion and how your assessment is going to be, but it's also a linguistic task. So looking at it from purely a language point of view, this seems very descriptive and not very assessing or very discussive. So I think that's something you should keep in mind when you read through your text. Am I at the right taxonomical level, and how do I convey that with my words? It seems to me that you should be at a higher level. I will obviously leave that up to Anne-Sophie. She might be satisfied with what you've got there. So, but that's my 10 cents worth regarding your language. Starting at the global level with how you tailor your language or your text to the reader, we've got sort of a similar thing as the last time. There's no title that tells me what this is about. There's no introduction to the text as a text, and you failed to define the key terms. That means that you begin kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I have to guess as a reader what the hell we're talking about because you're not telling me. So while you signpost relatively well within your paragraphs at a local level, you don't do it nearly enough on the global level. And that brings me to the phases of writing. There's a video that I've linked to in the Plan for English called The Phases of Writing. It's a very short video that goes through just the 3 phases: the planning of the text, the editing of the text, and the proofreading of the text. It seems to me that you haven't edited. Some indications that you haven't proofread either, I would say. A couple of places where some weird things are happening. But the thing with the editing is that you have an awful lot of information that sort of comes in some cases like a long list, and there's no real cohesion. The first paragraph of part 2, for instance, you simply failed to tell me what am I meant to be doing with I think there are 3 pieces of information in 3 sentences, but I have no idea how they link together. You don't tell me. So you need to be more aware of your reader. You need to tailor your language and signpost along the way. Go back to my previous video on that. So be more careful in your editing phase that you are actually tailoring your language to the reader. In terms of the paragraphs, they are a bit hit and miss. Some of them are good, some of them are still too kind of random. And your layout, you use sometimes 1 line spacing and sometimes 2. It's not possible for me to decipher what you mean by 2 line spaces and what you mean by 1. When you use just the 1 line spacing, is that meant to tell me something? Is that a chapter rather than an independent paragraph? Or what's the point of that? So really go back and edit your text once you've read it. This to me or to the reader can be either this is not someone in control of the text, or this is someone who's not done the proper time, or hasn't spent the proper time on this. I think it's the latter, because there's no indication in sort of the functionality of your language that tells me that you couldn't do this. It's not a lack of ability, it's a lack of effort, a lack of time, whatever. But it's certainly, there's a lot for you to still work with in regards to writing professional structured English. This is, to my mind, you solving a task rather than you wanting to convey a point of view to the reader. And that's a real shame, because I don't know what you think. I don't know what your opinion is. I don't know what your take is on this subject, which should be interesting to you as an officer in the Air Force. So I hope that this is just something that you've decided not to do, rather than a lack of ability, because I don't really see any progression between the two tasks that I've read so far. And I hope that you'll be able to employ some of the things that we've talked about at some point. I just haven't seen you do it yet. So anyway, get in touch with me if you want me to elaborate, or you have comments what I've said in this video. We can do it via email. And I think I will try and be there for the final face-to-face session at York Swap, so we can talk there if you want to. Anyway, that's it for me now. Bye.